Greetings, students of wisdom. Today, we delve into an essential art that shapes our lives and our peace of mind: mindfulness. Mindfulness is about being present, fully aware, and conscious of each moment we experience. It is the foundation of tranquility, resilience, and wisdom. In this video, I will share with you what I have learned from both ancient Stoic practices and my own experiences, along with stories that will bring these lessons to life. Together, we will explore how mindfulness can change the way we live, and how we can cultivate this awareness in our daily lives. Let's begin with a simple question: what is mindfulness? To put it simply, mindfulness is the practice of focusing your attention on the present moment, without judgment. It means being fully aware of where you are, what you are doing, and what you are thinking right now. So often, we find ourselves lost in thoughts about the past or anxious about the future. We replay mistakes or imagine scenarios that haven't happened. This takes us away from the present, the only place where life truly happens. Imagine you are holding a cup of tea. To truly appreciate that tea, to savor its warmth, its taste, its fragrance, you must be fully present with it. If your mind is scattered, worrying about tomorrow or replaying yesterday's events, you miss the richness of that moment. One of my favorite ancient stories about mindfulness comes from a farmer. The story goes like this. There was once a farmer whose horse ran away. His neighbors came to offer their condolences. "Such bad luck," they said sympathetically. "Maybe," replied the farmer. The next day, the horse returned, bringing with it 3 wild horses. "How wonderful!" the neighbors exclaimed. "Maybe," said the farmer again. The following day, the farmer's son tried to ride one of the untamed horses, was thrown off, and broke his leg. The neighbors came to offer their sympathy. "Such misfortune," they said. "Maybe," answered the farmer. The day after that, the army came to conscript young men for war, but the farmer's son was spared because of his broken leg. "How lucky you are," the neighbors said. "Maybe," replied the farmer. The farmer didn't get lost in joy or sorrow. He remained centered, grounded in the present moment, aware that life is ever-changing. He stayed mindful through all circumstances, without clinging to good fortune or despairing over bad luck. This teaches us an important lesson: events in life are neutral. It is our judgment of them that causes us suffering or joy. Mindfulness allows us to experience life without getting lost in our reactions to it. Before we dive deeper into mindfulness, let's address a common challenge: the wandering mind. Has this ever happened to you? You're working on something important, but suddenly your mind starts to drift. You begin thinking about what happened yesterday, or what might happen tomorrow. Before you know it, you've lost track of what you were doing. This is a natural tendency of the human mind. We're wired to think ahead, to solve problems, and to reflect on past experiences. While this can be useful, it also means that we spend much of our time living in our heads, disconnected from the present moment. I've experienced this myself many times. I remember a time when I was walking in a beautiful park. The sun was shining, the trees were swaying gently in the breeze, and birds were singing. But instead of appreciating the beauty around me, I found myself lost in thought, worrying about a meeting I had the next day. I missed the present moment entirely, even though it was right in front of me. The solution to this is simple, but it requires practice. We must bring our attention back to the present moment. The present is where life happens. The past is already gone, and the future has not yet arrived. Mindfulness trains us to return to the now, again and again. One of the best tools for this is your breath. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you always have your breath with you. Focusing on your breath is a powerful way to anchor your mind in the present moment. The next time your mind starts to wander, try this: pause, take a deep breath in, and slowly breathe out. Feel the air entering and leaving your body. In that moment, you are fully present. Let me share with you a story from the life of Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who was also one of the greatest Stoic philosophers. Marcus Aurelius ruled during a difficult time for Rome. Wars, plagues, and political unrest were common. Despite this, he managed to stay calm, composed, and mindful throughout his life. One day, While walking through the palace gardens, Marcus noticed how beautiful the flowers were. He paused for a moment and thought about how these same flowers would eventually wither and die. Instead of feeling sad or anxious about this inevitable change, he smiled to himself. He understood that this was the nature of life. Everything is in constant motion. The flowers bloom, they live their brief life, and then they fade. Marcus taught us that mindfulness is not just about staying present, but also about accepting life as it is. We cannot control the future or the past, but we can control how we react to it. Like the farmer in the earlier story, Marcus Aurelius remained calm and mindful, knowing that all things come and go. Now that we understand what mindfulness is, and why it's important, the next step is to integrate it into our daily lives. You don't need to dedicate hours each day to practice mindfulness. In fact, you can start with just a few minutes, and you can do it anywhere. Here are a few simple techniques. Mindful breathing. Take a few minutes each day to focus entirely on your breath. Breathe in slowly and deeply, hold for a moment, and exhale. As you breathe, try to let go of any thoughts or distractions. Just focus on the sensation of the air moving in and out of your body. Mindful eating. The next time you have a meal, try to eat mindfully. Instead of rushing through your meal, take your time to truly savor the flavors, textures, and smells. Pay attention to each bite, and notice how your body feels as you eat. Mindful walking. When you walk, whether it's to the store or through a park, focus on each step. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Notice the sensations in your body as you move. Take in the sights, sounds, and smells around you. Walking can be a wonderful opportunity to practice mindfulness. Mindful listening. When someone is speaking to you, give them your full attention. Don't think about what you're going to say next or get distracted by your phone. Listen with curiosity and openness. This not only improves your mindfulness but also deepens your relationships. Mindfulness is a skill that grows stronger with practice. At first, it might feel difficult to stay present for more than a few moments. But over time, you'll find that it becomes easier, and you'll begin to experience the many benefits: reduced stress, greater focus, and a deeper sense of peace. Before we continue, I'd like to take a moment to remind you to subscribe to Students of Wisdom. By joining us, you'll be part of a growing community of individuals dedicated to learning and applying timeless wisdom in their lives. If you find these teachings valuable, please like this video and hit the subscribe button. Your support helps us to continue sharing these important lessons with the world. One of the key aspects of mindfulness is learning to accept things as they are, without resisting or wishing they were different. This doesn't mean we shouldn't try to improve our lives, but it does mean that we should stop fighting against reality. I once heard a story about a monk who lived in a small monastery in the mountains. Every day, he would sweep the floors of the monastery, taking great care with each stroke of the broom. One day, a visitor came and asked the monk, "Why do you spend so much time sweeping the floor? Don't you ever get tired of doing the same thing every day?" The monk smiled and replied, "I sweep the floor to sweep my mind." In this simple act of sweeping, the monk found mindfulness and acceptance. He wasn't resisting the task or wishing it were different. Instead, he embraced it fully, knowing that by focusing on the present moment, he was also clearing his mind of distractions and worries. Acceptance is a powerful tool. When we stop resisting what is, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. We learn to flow with life rather than against it. Mindfulness is not just for peaceful moments like walking through a park or enjoying a cup of tea. It's also an incredibly valuable tool for dealing with life's challenges. When faced with difficult situations, our first reaction is often to panic, worry, or get angry. These reactions only add to our suffering. Mindfulness allows us to pause, take a step back, and observe the situation without getting overwhelmed by our emotions. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. You can't control the traffic, but you can control how you respond to it. Instead of getting frustrated, you can use mindfulness to calm your mind. Take a deep breath, feel your hands on the steering wheel, and notice the sensations in your body. By bringing your attention back to the present moment, you can reduce your stress and approach the situation with a clearer mind. Mindfulness is a lifelong practice. It's about learning to live fully in each moment, whether that moment is joyful, painful, or somewhere in between. By staying present and aware, we can navigate life's ups and downs with greater peace and clarity. So, I invite you to begin practicing mindfulness today. Start small, maybe with a few minutes of mindful breathing or a mindful walk. Over time, you'll notice a profound shift in how you experience life. Remember, the present moment is all we have. The past is gone, and the future is yet to come. All we can truly influence is the here and now. Thank you for watching, and may you find peace and wisdom in each moment. Until next time, stay mindful, and don't forget to subscribe to Students of Wisdom.